What's up, you guys? So says the leader talking. Back with another excerpt reading from my Princess Luan and Wizard of Various series. This excerpt reading comes from one of my books in the budding Super Sleuths 7 series of miniseries. It's called Mystery in the Skies. I thought I'd read a few parts of it, and I hope you enjoy. Let's start. Here's a excerpt where Roxy runs into an old friend from middle school. Her name is Emerald Lake. I hope you'll like hearing this. Let's read. As Roxy picked up her suitcase and started to follow the rest of the group, she was suddenly startled by a tap on her shoulder, and she whirled around saying, "Huh?" And then she was greeted by a familiar face. The new girl she'd encountered was green-eyed and sported a bob cut of strawberry blonde hair, which contrasted nicely with her blue jeans and bright yellow tank top. "Hey, little Rock," the blonde greeted her. "How's it going?" "Emerald Lake!" Roxy exclaimed. Then she laughed as she threw her arms around her former schoolmate and hugged her. Emerald Lake was one of Roxy's best friends back when she'd gone to middle school in Gardenia. She had big dreams and had no way of fulfilling them until she'd sung in a school talent show and caught the eye of a talent scout. Since then, she'd never been heard from again since she started her singing career. "What are you doing here?" Roxy wondered. "Have a gig on the Hispaniola," Emerald explained. "Afterwards, I'm free for a 2-month vacation in Europe." "Really?" Roxy realized. "That's great. I hope we'll see you on the countryside." "Hopefully," Emerald replied with a small smile. Then she cleared her throat and said, "Well, I better get to my seat. See you around, Rox." "Yeah," Roxy confirmed. "See ya." And as she and Emerald headed off in opposite directions, Roxy caught up with the rest of her Super Sleuth group where Miles asked, "What kept you?" Roxy shrugged as she explained, "I ran into an old friend." "An old friend?" Helena wondered. "Who was it?" "I'll tell you later," Roxy replied. "Right now we need to get to our seats before takeoff." "What about our rooms?" Miles wondered. "The rooms are only for after the dirigible has reached its desired altitude," Ashley explained. "Until then, we're going above this ballroom to the main cabin." "Oh," Miles murmured, half to himself. "I see." "Come on, you guys, we've done enough," Luan said. "Let's get up top and take our seats." And as Luan led the way up the stairs, the other Super Sleuths followed her to the top floor of the cabin. So as you can see, Roxy had, when Roxy was younger, she had gone to middle school in Gardenia, made friends with the girl Emerald Lake, and now they caught up with each other after all these years. Let's continue. Okay, this takes place after they get settled into the ballroom underneath the cabin of the Hispaniola dirigible, and this is when we learn about Emerald's new occupation. Let's read. "This room is incredible," Ashley remarked as she helped Luan wheel 2 of the suitcases inside the room, followed by Havaria, who wheeled her trunk in behind her. The room that she and Luan entered was small, but included 2 medium-sized beds against the right wall, a door that led into a small walk-in bathroom at the left-hand corner of the doorway, small reading lanterns which seemed to turn on by twisting a circular switch and rested on the nightstands, and a pair of folded cots leaning against the far corner beside a closet door. At the far left-hand corner was another door, and Luan figured that door led into the adjoining room. "It's a little small for my taste," Luan joked, "but I think I can make it work. At least we can now relax and enjoy our flight to Europe," Lartu told the group. "And after we get settled in, we need to find Roxy and Helena. They'll be sharing the adjoining room with Miles." "I'll go look for them," Luan volunteered. "You guys, you find our room keys so we're not locked out." "Sure," Larry assured her. And then the elder girl turned and walked out into the din that was the crowd of airship passengers. Luan scoured the first floor of the cabin ballroom, searching for Roxy and Helena as she approached the huge stage. A moment later, she spied the familiar mauve hairdo that tumbled past the person's shoulders and tapped that person on the shoulder. The mauve-haired girl whirled and said, "Hey, Luan!" "Hey," Luan greeted Roxy. "Just wanted to let you know that we found our rooms." She handed her cousin an envelope and said, "Your key's in here. You'll be sharing the room next to us with Miles and Helena." Roxy eyed the label on the envelope, which had the number 1002 written on it. But meanwhile, Luan scanned the crowd and wondered aloud, "Where is Helena anyway?" "With Amaryl," Roxy replied. "Amaryl needed a replacement for her stage show and Helena volunteered." "Did she say what was going to happen?" Luan asked. But then the glow of the chandelier above suddenly dimmed, and she turned her attention toward the large stage. The audience applauded as the redhead Luan knew was Helena stepped out, and she began to speak into a microphone. "Hello, ladies and gentlemen," Helena began. "Welcome to the Mystic and Magic Show. My name is Helena, and I will be your commentator for this performance. As our performers prepare for this event, I would like to share with you one of the prized possessions on display here in this ballroom." Helena turned toward the stage left and nodded, which prompted Amaryl, who was clad in a red velvet dress with a long skirt, to wheel out a glass case in which a large red stone rested on a pedestal cushioned with blue velvet. As Amaryl struck a pose to show off the new icon, Helena explained, "This is the gallstone ruby of Burma, the most precious stone in all the land, and it is en route to the Louvre Museum in Paris, France, for display. Our performance regards this gemstone, and the magician bold enough to attempt to make it vanish." Upon hearing this, Luan thought, "Attempt to make it vanish? Couldn't someone just cut the glass and take it?" "Why do I say attempt?" Helena went on, as if in answer to Luan's silent thought. "Because this jewel is protected by a hair-trigger security alarm, not to mention that the glass case of this case is reinforced with titanium alloy. Despite all of this, our star is planning on performing this nearly impossible magic trick." "But who is this magician?" Luan asked herself, before Amaryl spoke up. "And now, put your hands together for Miss Tanko of Palenica, also otherwise known as the one, the only, Lioness!" Upon her introduction, the crowd broke into applause as a tall, willowy, dark-haired woman stepped out and bowed low. The new woman who joined Amaryl and Helena had jet black hair that tumbled past her waist. As she tossed back her gold cape with a flourish, she was revealed to be wearing a sparkling gold lame strapless bodysuit. Thank you very much," Lioness called out to the audience. "And welcome to the Mystic and Magic Show. As you know, I am Lioness, illusionist extraordinaire, and a mistress of..." With a flick of the wrist and a flourish, she withdrew a bouquet of paper flowers from inside her sleeve and finished with prestidigitation. "That's pretty good," Juan realized with a grin. "But I'm sure Hazarica can do better than that. As I stand before you today, 35,000 feet above ground level, let me assure," Linus went on, Let me assure you that I have trained many years to perform the event that I shall now present before you. Amaral struck her pose to show off the gallstone ruby again, and Linus continued with, "My associates and I shall dazzle you with an illusion like no other, the illusion of a vanishing precious stone." "Would you just get on with it already?" Luan declared with a frustrated glare before she felt an elbow jab into her stomach. Her gaze shifted toward Roxy, who cast a backward glance and a lopsided grin at her cousin. A moment later, Luan watched as Linus removed her cape and handed it to Amaral. "Miss Amaral, if you please, cover the glass case." Amaral unraveled the gold cape, which suddenly grew longer as it became a gold covering that cascaded over the glass case and hid the ruby completely. "Now, my friends, as my friends have told you, this ruby, the gallstone ruby, is one of the most valuable, priceless icons in the world, protected by a hair-trigger security alarm and reinforced glass so strong that it is nearly tamper-proof. Despite these safeties, I, the great lioness, shall make this ultra-rare icon vanish before your very eyes." "Get on with it already!" Luan declared to herself. "But first I will need to find my wand," Linus went on, and patted her costume with the murmurs of, "Now where did I put that thing? I know I put it somewhere." And then she chuckled. "Oh, I remember now. It's in here." And she flicked her wrist, causing her wrist cup to seemingly produce the wand from within. Luan cast a lopsided grin as she snorted a laugh and thought, "Show off." "Now I will need everyone's help," Linus called out, turning her attention toward the audience. "When I count to 3, I need everyone to shout as loud as they can. Hocus pocus, Shazam! Ready? Everybody ready?" Linus raised her wand over the draped display case and tapped it once as she counted 1. She tapped the case a second time and counted 2. However, before she tapped the case a third time, the stage suddenly went dark, causing everyone to scream as being plunged into total darkness. But one scream was louder than others, seeming to fade slowly away before the stage light suddenly came back on a moment later. However, no one in attendance was prepared for the scene before them, because everybody started clamoring over the missing person no longer there. Linus had disappeared. "What in the world?" Roxy exclaimed. "Where'd Linus go?" "Something tells me that wasn't part of the act," Luan reasoned. But a second later, she heard a snarling, hissing voice of laughter seeming to be coming from above the stage. And as she looked upward, only to see a glowing green monster whose eyes glowed red. This monster wore a black bodysuit under a matching wizard's robe, which, on closer inspection, concealed bony green hands equipped with long fingernails, while a black fedora adorned its head. "Hearken, thieves," the monster declared. "Thou hast stolen mine prized possession. Return it whence it came, or thou shalt pay with thy life." And then, with a flourish, it vanished behind a large puff of white smoke. So, as you can see, the mystery has begun, with Linus having disappeared, and this monster who claims to be the guardian of the gallstone ruby of Burma having appeared on the ship mysteriously. What's in store for our heroes? I suggest you keep reading to find out. Let's continue. Okay, this episode, this scene this scene shows what happens when Haveria is doing research on the monster that appeared, and the Super Sleuths going into action. Let's read. There is another possibility, Havaria Winchester told Amarillo as she flipped through the pages of a book entitled Lesser-Known Myths and Legends. Within another moment, she revealed an entry with the drawing of a familiar monstrous figure. As she pointed to the photo, she asked Amarillo, "Did it look anything like this?" Amarillo stared at the entry, only to have a scaly green monster in black glare back at her from the page. She shuddered and confirmed uneasily, "Yes, that was it exactly." "I feared as much," Havaria realized solemnly. She read from the book. The gallstone Grundle, sworn guardian and protector of the gallstone ruby of Burma. Once every 100 years, when the precious stone it protects is disturbed or removed from its resting place, it manifests itself in order to take revenge upon the desecrators of the gallstone ruby. The Super Sleuths had gathered in one of the adjoining rooms, with Roxy sitting on the foot of the bed with R2 at her left. Ashley lay on the bed at Roxy's right, while Miles sat in an easy chair in the corner neighboring the nightstand. Amarillo and Luan sat on the cot, while Helena and Havaria stood in the center of the room. "But Tenko and I didn't disturb the ruby's resting place," Amarillo protested. "A woman named Mrs. Clutchcoin led an expedition that discovered it long ago. The ruby is on loan from her." "So here's the question," Miles injected as he rose from his seat and approached the center of the room, joining the rest of the group. "Why has Tall, Green, and Gruesome suddenly appeared here and captured Lioness if Mrs. Clutchcoin is the one he's upset with?" "You're right, Miles, that is a good question," Roxy realized as she absently stroked R2's fur. "And the only way to find out the answer to that, is to solve this mystery." "Do we have to?" Miles whined. "I'm allergic to evil spirits." "Yes, we have to," Luan insisted. "Even if we could run away from this mystery, where would we run to?" "Luan's right," Havaria agreed. "We're thousands of feet up in the air, so there's no better way to pass the time up here than to solve this mystery." "Agreed," Ashley Whitaker added, and turned back to Amarillo. "Amarillo, do you know of anyone who might know Mrs. Clutchcoin or your friend Tanko?" "Well, there is another person on this airship who's familiar with Linus's vanishing trick," Amarillo admitted. "Her name is Richards, Serena Richards. She was supposed to be in the same room as Linus, but something happened to her before we boarded." "What do you mean by something happened?" Helen asked. "She suddenly disappeared before we left Polinica to board the blimp," Amarillo replied. "No one we know has seen her since. That's why I asked one of you guys to volunteer, to replace her." "All right," Daria said. "We've got some information. Let's split up into two groups and build on what we have so far. Amarillo, Roxy, Ashley, and I can search Lannis's room for clues," Luan offered. "And the rest of us will examine the stage for signs of abnormality," Helena returned. Upon hearing such proposals, Amarillo wrinkled her nose and asked, "Do you guys do this often? Solve mysteries, I mean?" However, she was not prepared for the voice that she heard next, and this one came from Roxy's dog R2, as he replied, "Technically it's just a hobby, but we do what we do best." Amarillo shot up from the cot as she felt her heart skip a beat, and she sputtered with wide eyes, "Did I just talk?" Roxy merely chuckled on that note and said simply, I've got a lot to fill you in on, my friend." "But we don't have time to explain now," Luan injected. "We need to find some answers to this mystery. Then I suggest we don our jackets and recite our motto," Helena proposed, and she headed toward the closet where their bags lay in a corner. She fished around in the corner and finally pulled out a large red duffel bag with streaked at both ends with black stripes. Within the center of that bag, the official logo of the Super Sleuths 7, the drawing of a magnifying glass that sported a black number 7 within its circle, was emblazoned on both sides. Do you always bring our detective gear everywhere we go? Ashley wondered, giving Helena a skeptical look. No, just when we're looking to solve a mystery, Helena said with a playful wink as she unzipped the duffel bag to reveal the Super Sleuths Club jackets. These jackets were fire engine red, streaked with black around their waistlines and a matching horizontal chest stripe. The logo of the magnifying glass emblazoned in the back of each jacket, and it sported the black number 7 within its circle. Each of the sleuths donned their jackets as Amaryl watched. Luan fit into her jacket perfectly, while Roxy sported an elegant flare in the back of hers. Helena's jacket was a little snug, while Miles sported a funky bagginess to his. Hilarious jacket fitted just right, not too big, not too small, and Ashley's jacket was medium huge, which suited her fine. Then each of the sleuths stood in a line and struck their own unique pose, reciting their motto bit by bit. Any time, Luan began. And any place, Miles went on. The SS7, Roxy continued, are on the case! The group chorused in unison, each one running a V sign past their eyes. Amaryl cast a lopsided grin at her new friends. So as you can see, the gallstone grundle is the name of the monster that caused Linus to disappear. And the Super Sleuths 7 are on the case to solve the mystery behind Linus's disappearance and why the gallstone grundle is suddenly taking revenge on Linus. So I hope you enjoyed this excerpt reading. If you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and share this video with your friends and everyone. Also, if you haven't, please subscribe. Don't forget to support the YouTube community. And also have a happy Halloween. I'm So Says the Leader. This is So Says the Leader signing off. Peace out.